Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Preston M. Smith. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm Preston M. Smith, at PMS Artwork everywhere on internet land and socials. I want to thank you for landing on this podcast. Whether you're a professional artist, just getting started in the art world, a collector of art, or just consider yourself a creative person, this podcast has something for you. I like to think of it as a fun way to rant and talk to other creative people about living the life of an artist, surviving and getting ahead in the art world, and enjoying your life. But most importantly, not waiting until you're dead to make it happen. All right, let's get started.
Shut up. Oh, I guess that worked.
That's hot.
All right. Yes, so that last part was a nod to Paris Hilton and The Simple Life. And you might be asking yourself, why? WTF? Loves it. No, it's funny. My wife and I were falling asleep on the couch the other night after watching a movie after a long week. We were like 75% of the way through a movie and we fell asleep. And I kept waking up to this like laughter and madness and whatever. I think we were on Amazon or something. And this show came on afterwards. You know how they recommend shows to you and they play stuff like What's Up Next? And for some reason, we were just watching some random movie comedy. And for some reason, The Simple Life came on. So I kept waking up to like, and like, that's hot and loves it and all this stuff and just laughing at all this stuff. And my wife and I finally woke up and we were just kind of laughing at it. And I said, man, they remind me of like the female Beavis and Butthead a bit. And it was enough to get us to kind of watch it. So we started watching it. And my 2003-year-old self is rolling in his bed. I'm not dead, so I can't say grave, but rolling in his, his skin. Because when I first came to town and I was like acting and very serious as an artist and really, dark and emotional, I was like, man, Paris Hilton's like everything that's wrong with the world and our society right now. And I was like, you couldn't have paid me enough to watch that show. Like I would have watched it. And I had so much disdain for that and whatever that was about. But it's funny because nowadays with social media, she kind of gave birth to the current state of social media. So yeah, we have her to thank for that. I have a weird kind of respect for her, which I'm not going to get into now, but it was interesting looking back on it and going like, man, this is like the norm now. Like this is nothing. This is tame now. Like when it was on at that time, I would have never watched it. And if I watched it, I probably would have been like shaking my head. But now it's just kind of funny and it's looking back and it's like, oh, what a simpler time. So we're watching it. We were actually getting a kick out of the show and we watched it and I actually liked it for what it was. And it kind of almost had this punk, anarchistic, almost mischievous edge to it. But it's just made me really realize how far we've come with social media and social media fame. This was like pre-social media. I think at the end, they made a reference to MySpace in like the 5th season or something. And, it's crazy because like, yeah, it spawned social media and like the whole meme culture and, social media influencer fame. So yeah, for that, I still have a lot of disdain, but it was just interesting to watch and go, oh man, we have really kind of sunk very fast. Like a lot of things with social media are great. And that's what we're going to talk about today. It's just something that I wanted to share with you all because it's just funny. It's just funny how now looking back on it, it was just kind of a little bit entertaining and, tame compared to what I used to think it was. So now, fast forward, whatever it is, 18 years. And here we are with just complete social media influencer, fast track to success culture. And everybody wants to be like social media famous. And like when they ask kids now, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's like famous. It's not even like, I want to be a firefighter, or I want to be the president of the United States, or I want to be a basketball player. It's like, I want to be famous. I want to be famous no matter how I can do it. And so I just wanted to use that to set the stage a little bit to get into this social media conversation that we're going to have today, and how to just use social media for what it's for and not get too sucked into it, because it can kind of ruin your happiness and it can ruin your creativity. It can help it too. I think it's important as a tool, but it should be used just for that, as a tool. And I'm going to tell you a little bit how I use it and how I quickly use it, get in, get out. I think a lot of people think I'm like maybe on there all the time, but really the most time I think I've ever spent on social media in a day is like 30 minutes. It's typically about 15 minutes. I just get in there, post what I need to do, follow and support some people that I like and want to support, and then I'm done and I'm on with my day. And that's like the perfect amount. And you know what? Sometimes that's even too much, because I know you've all had that experience where you've gotten on social media and you're in a good mood and you start following people, and all of a sudden you're like, man, my life sucks. I fucking hate this. And now my day is ruined. And it's like, why do I feel so bad about myself all of a sudden? Well, that's social media for you. Loves it. So there are a lot of haters out there. There's always been a lot of haters. Now I think it's just, they're just like everything else. They're amplified. They're put on steroids. They've been given visibility just like anybody else. And, you get haters and people who are just thinking whatever you're doing on social media is wrong, or self-congratulatory, self-gratifying, or whatever. I'm trying to boost myself too much. People accuse you of, milking social media or being on there all the time. Look, I've been called a lot of things, but never this, never this. No, but really for me, I don't take it lightly. I don't take social media lightly. I understand what it is, and I understand the dark side of it. Like, look at kids nowadays, right? You've got these kids, these little girls, these little boys, non-binary, whatever you want to say. You got all these little people coming on social media at an early age. They can't even look at it. Like, I was watching something the other day and they were talking about how they can't even get on their social media and look at themselves without a filter. Like, that's how warped their view of reality has become. It's like, I want to see this fake side of myself, this amplified, larger than life version of myself. And that's the only way I can actually do it. Now, that's terrifying. Luckily, I'm of the generation where, when I was in high school, like, we didn't even have cell phones. You know what I mean? I'm dating myself.
Back in my day, we just had walkie-talkies. We'd walk around with the walkie-talkie, and we'd talk to our friends all day.
No, but we would, we would just live our normal lives. And when I got down to LA, I bought a cell phone for acting. We only had texting at that time. We didn't have anything else. We didn't have smartphones. We didn't have social media. We didn't have MySpace when I got a cell phone. And thank God for that, man, because I think it can warp anybody. It can warp anybody's brain. So how do you use social media for what it is? Like, if you're trying to brand yourself, if you're trying to sell work, you're trying to get your work out there, it's a real thing now. Like, galleries will, like, if they're looking between two artists and then one artist has a real big social media following and the other one doesn't, that gallery might be more prone to taking you on, putting you on their roster because of your social media following. And that's just a reality now. So, and you can hum and haw and get upset about it, shout into the abyss, but it doesn't really matter. That's a reality. Like, people are looking at your social media. They're looking at, your presence, but also, like, it's a good way just to see your work, right? I mean, you don't have to worry about becoming social media famous and being an influencer. I mean, that kind of can corrupt your soul, right? But also, if there are people that do it right, there are people that are genuinely doing things. And hey, I'm not going to get down on somebody for getting paid to, put a product in a photo if they do it right, especially. But I'm not in this to be an influencer. I'm in there just to get exposure, to get my work out there, to share it with people. I've gotten sales off of social media. I've used it as a tool. I've used it for my podcast. It's a great tool. Now, I say that, obviously, I want to underline this with a disclaimer, which is, don't spend too much time on social media and get sucked into the abyss, because you can do it very easily. So what I do is I come in with a game plan. Like I think I've talked about this in other episodes before, but it's true. And I think it's important enough. Like I almost kind of got scared straight watching some of these things recently because Mags and I, my wife and I, we did this little deep dive after we watched it. We watched this documentary on Paris Hilton, and she even admitted she kind of feels responsible for creating a monster with social media, and she feels bad about it. And you know, they were going into all these people who are just going crazy, like people who are like lighting themselves on fire to get social media fame. And that's the thing that you need to understand also is there's always going to be somebody who's willing to do some more or higher stupid shit than you to get a following, you know? And that's not why we as artists are on social media. We're on there to just show our work, you know, to get feedback, to get exposure, to maybe get the potential sale, to get exposed to galleries, you know, that kind of stuff. And that's all great and valid, and I think pure, or as pure as you can be nowadays with social media, right? So that's what we do. That's what we use it for. Put away your lighters and your lighter fluid and your vodka-soaked tampon. What? Hello. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Yeah, so what I do is I will create a new piece. I will take my pictures, you know, do all my stuff, my textured shots, my from an angle shot, my in context photos, how it looks in a home, and then I'll put that package together, and then I'll just get on social media and I'll put it up. I'll get my hashtags. I will put it out there into the ether. I will go and like some of my friends' stuff and some artists that I follow that I really admire. I'll put up a story that's just fun and engaging, and then you know what? I'm done. I'm out. And yeah, like I said, it takes about 15 minutes to half an hour if I'm doing something really crazy. Like if I have to promote somebody, like I had a guest on the podcast the other day, Lisa, she sent me her hand-painted homes book, which was great, like this huge, amazing book. And I, you know, really felt the need and the desire to promote that. So I put up 2 stories of that to just show my gratitude for sending me this amazing book. And, you know, that's all valid and wonderful. But I think the problem occurs when you start to really fall down the rabbit hole of looking at other people's work and the FOMO and the, oh my God, this person's doing this and this person's doing this, oh, and this person's work is so great. And then you feel like you're not doing anything and, you know, why even try? And all of a sudden you're in a funk and you're depressed for a day. Like I've been there. And, you know, right now we're kind of going back into some crazy pandemic mania, you know, masks, and some people are not going out as much again. So as much as I hate to say it, I'm over it. My brain has clicked over into normal life, but we're still kind of separated from each other. So there is still that pull to get on social media to get our buzz of community, and that can be dangerous. So just take this to heart and be careful. Put something out there that you really like, that you want to share, that you're very proud of. Put that out into the world and then get your likes out. And I promise you it won't suck your soul out of your ears. You heard it here first, people. Your soul will stay in your ears. But anyway, so that's a good way to just use social media for what it is. As a tool, get in, get out, take it seriously, be professional about it, and don't be too obsessive or obsessed with the elusive social media influencer fame. The American meme, which of course translates to me, 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 me. It's all about me, everybody. Hope you got something out of this. Always love having you here. Tune in for the next episode. That's hot. Loves it. This has been the Living Artist Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I just want you to know that I appreciate you being here, and I'm grateful to be in your ears. Your art and creative life on this planet is meaningful, so thank you for sharing it with me. If you like this podcast, whatever platform you're listening to it on, please subscribe and share it with your friends. You can also leave me a positive review to show your support. This helps me to reach more people with the algorithmic magic and keep the show going strong. If you want to see more of what I do and check out the art that I create, you can visit my website at www.pmsartwork.com or follow me on social media everywhere at PMS Artwork. That's it for now. See you back here next time.